What does it actually take for a finance team to start using AI? And I don't mean the hype, but the actual practical steps.
One thing that actually people are really afraid of today is losing their jobs. And this is the reality. All of their job basically is going to change. Basically everyone is asking now, can we use AI? It's not the question if it's going to change, it's going to be the question when it's going to be changed. Be more interested. Like, ask questions. I want to be the first one to test it out. Even if it doesn't work, the data quality is actually very, very low. Small and medium-sized companies, they don't have the funds or the willingness, and they're not using their full potential. Do you want to be a customer of such company? Probably not. This is also something that I'm seeing that is quite a big mistake from my point of view, that
Hi Mari-Liis,
Hi,
thank you
Gerlyn.
so much for being to Inside Finance. First, let's start with you telling a little bit about your background.
Yeah, sure. My name is Mari-Liis Kikas, first of all. I am a fractional CFO today. I started out as an accountant, studied accounting, worked as an accountant, and then I steadily moved into more like financial analytics. I worked as an M&A consultant, studied business finance, and then gradually from there to financial controlling, and then the CFO positions. And now I've been working as a fractional CFO around 3 years full-time, and before that, here and there, to some, friends and colleagues and whoever needed some kind of advice. And that was also the reason why I kind of found out that the fractional CFO is the way to go for me.
So let's start with you telling what a fractional CFO does, because I think a lot of people, when they hear like CFO, they picture this very fancy corner office, big one in a corporate world. But what do you do?
I would say fractional CFO kind of is like a CFO on a regular basis as well. It's just, it's more flexible. There are maybe different kind of tasks you are doing to different kind of clients. It really depends on what industry they are in, what they really need. And of course, they are doing it on a fractional cost, on a fractional basis from a time perspective as well. Other than that, I would say the most focus is still going to strategy management and kind of like holding the whole finance department, finance function all together, helping to build it up whenever companies need it from the scratch, or just improving whatever needs to be approved.
So you have worked in quite big corporations like PwC, Enefit, Orkla Group. What made you actually decide that, yes, now I want to leave the corporate world, I want to found my own business, Kikas CFO, which is, by the way, an awesome name for a company. So what made you take that step?
It was quite, I would say, natural move for me, because I already had some clients or some kind of like friends and people who wanted advice. So I really get the, I wanted to give more. I felt like I have so much more to give, because once we have been working together in Enefit.
Yes.
You know what it feels like in a big corporation. So you kind of like want to give more. I want to have like the perspective that I can help with all the finance function. I know how to build it up from scratch, like in a very efficient way. So I felt like I have so much more to give. And the more I saw small, medium-sized, micro companies in Estonia or in Europe, I felt like I have so much more to give to them, and they're not using their full potential, which they should. And having everything like set up from the first go in a very efficient way, it gives you such a huge competitive advantage. So I kind of like, I also saw that there isn't basically anyone in Estonia at that time offering this kind of thing, and there are still very few people that are offering it. So I kind of felt like there is like this missing piece, and that's why I go for it, and so far so good.
Awesome. Mari-Liis, let's talk a little bit about AI. So Do you remember when was the first moment that you saw that AI is actually coming to your life? Was there like a specific thing that happened? You saw that, oh, this is going to change my work? Or did it just like creep in some gradual way?
Yeah, it has been super gradual. I think it already comes because from my first job, since my first job, I have always had this mentality that I always find some kind of things I want to improve. I want to do things as efficient as possible. I have been kind of trained to always think and find the things that need to be improving.
Yeah.
So whenever I saw that, okay, AI offers these kind of options, I'm like, okay, I want to be the first one to test it out. Even if it doesn't work, I want to see how much time I could save from that job, or how much better presentation or whatever I can do with that. So I just wanted to try it out. Of course, I want to offer the best things for my clients. So I'm always testing it out myself and then offering to the clients. And yeah, it has been super gradual.
I think that's the perfect mentality, because a lot of the people who started testing it like year or 2 years ago, they were like, oh my God, this is nonsense, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
but it takes this internal knowledge also, or this willpower to start using it.
I think in all of this, the mindset you have and the mindset employees have, this is the key thing. If you don't have it, it's super hard to come. So yeah, you kind of have to have it.
Okay, and you also already mentioned the customers. So if you look at your own companies that you work with, what's the mentality among them? Do they use AI? Do they want to use AI?
I think in the past year, it has been steadily growing. Basically everyone is asking now, can we use AI? I've heard about this and that. Can we use it as well? But I would say companies are not that ready as I would like to. At this point, especially when you start out with a new client, there are different kind of things that are still need a little bit of work. One thing definitely is the data quality and how integrated, how automated your systems is, because we all know if you give trash into AI, you get it out as well.
Exactly.
So I know we've been working together in reporting side as well in Enefit, so you know very well to have very good automated reporting and to use AI on that, you need to have everything else before that in place very well. So yeah, I kind of think that this is something that the companies really need to focus on at the moment to have the AI readiness afterwards.
I think you nailed it, and I think this is something we need to discuss further, because data quality and data readiness, this is something that's very important to me, because I see that also everywhere. And I think let's go inside, get somewhere warm and discuss this further.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So Mari-Liis, outside you mentioned that not all companies are ready for AI. So what does readiness mean to you? What are they missing? What is good?
Yeah, I think there are several things at the moment that the companies should focus on to get their readiness. One thing that we definitely have to start with is all the employees and how the whole organization is, how their mindset is about AI, if all the employees are on board with it, because all of their job basically is going to change. It's not a question if it's going to change, it's going to be the question when it's going to be changed. So I think this is the main thing, and what I see that sometimes small companies or medium-sized companies are struggling with, because yes, the CEO or the owner of the company wants it. They are really willing to change, but not always the employees want it, and at the same time, when we are speaking about small companies or medium-sized companies, very often several kind of services are kind of purchased outside of the company. They don't have the full-time employees, so getting everyone on board who are doing something for your company is kind of like a difficult task. I'm sure you've seen it as well in different companies when you're giving some kind of consultations. And another thing is, which is also really important and also goes well with employees, is that the data quality is actually very, very low, and it's still surprisingly low. When we're speaking about like integrated systems, automating your tasks that you are doing in the company, this is still something that needs a lot of work, and to have the company ready using AI. It's not only that, I'm extracting some kind of Excel or CSV file from the accounting system when we're speaking about finance, and then we are kind of like working with it in AI. Yes, it works for analysts and all sorts of people, but when we are speaking about, and my mission definitely is having the whole company on board and the whole finance function as a whole, then having this kind of integrated systems, automating the tasks that are usually done manually, this needs to change.
Let's talk about the data quality, because it's quite strange that it's an issue, as you mentioned also, because okay, maybe that's the positive side of Estonia, that the accounting is quite well automated already, but still I see it also very often that all of the information is gathered, maybe brought from different data sources or different systems into an Excel, and finance people love Excel, which is okay. Excel is a great tool, but again, if we want to automate it, if you want to use AI on top of it, then that's not enough.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in Estonia, like accounting systems and everything in Estonia, we're very digitalized, which is a good thing, and why also different kind of like foreigners are thinking about establishing company here, because it's really easy and you get everything done quite quickly compared to other countries. But yeah, when we're speaking about data and also the accounting side of data, then I think like a lot of companies have their accounting like compliance ready, but not strategy ready. And I think there is like a huge difference. And also when we're speaking not only accounting, but the whole finance function, you need all the analysis, you need all the reporting, you need everything. So this is what drives also the strategy part, not only the compliance part. You can have a very good compliance, you can easily have a very clean audit, you can have clean tax reporting, everything very easily. All the accounting systems in Estonia support that very well. But when we're speaking about strategy and what we want to drive with AI, where we see the most value, then this is the thing we need to work on. And there is a lot of things like what I see very often is that everyone in finance, especially when you have outsourced different parts of finance, like you have outsourced maybe accounting, you have outsourced your CFO, you have outsourced maybe a financial analyst, you might have outsourced different kind of things, so they don't work well together. So it's very common that when I am going into the client as a fractional CFO, first thing that I'm doing is that we are getting together as a whole team. We are speaking through what each person is doing, what each person is responsible for, how we could all, when we're speaking about the strategy of the company, then what are we all doing for that? So everyone needs to kind of be informed, and they need to work on it as a whole team together. It doesn't matter if you're outsourced or you are the actual employee. This is like a very important part. And yeah, I think this is like the first discussion that we have to start dealing with the data quality.
I think this is a really important differentiator, because if you are a small company, if you're just starting out, then you think, oh, everything I have to do in finance, this is basically for accounting to get the reports done. Yeah. But they don't often think that maybe I will grow and I will grow enough that I actually need to think about the strategical part. And then when they invite you to be beside or help them, then they are in trouble because the data is not enough to actually think about the strategy.
Yeah.
So can you bring also some kind of example about when you have entered maybe a company, of course no names, but when you enter the company and you see that yes, they are really capable and growing, they could do a lot, but actually they don't have the data in place, and it might take, I don't know, maybe weeks, months even to get it in place at first.
Yeah, it definitely takes months, and I would say in terms of that, usually companies are coming to me when there is some kind of pain in somewhere. Like they are either raising funds, they need something for the banking relationships, they have external investors who want to get some kind of overview of the company, how they are doing, or the management is requesting something. So there is something usually. There is a little like a few companies that are doing everything from the scratch, but I would say these are the kind of companies that know from the start that we are going to grow, we are going quite like fast, and we have all the resources already to go really quick and really fast. So they need to be ready from the first go. These are the kind of clients that are just such a joy to work with, I have to say, because the main thing for me is that the company needs to want it. If they don't want it, for me it's really hard to work with and kind of like push it through. But one thing I definitely wanted to mention is that when we're speaking about having different kind of people on board, we definitely, when we are speaking in the beginning with the management or with the owners about the strategy, we are not only talking about like financial strategy, like in terms of numbers. We definitely have to include all the systems and how our processes are set up in terms of strategy as well. So it needs to support the whole picture. And this is something that we are seeing like quite straight away, that the systems we have at the moment don't work and they don't support our growth. And we want to grow, and my mission is also that I want more small businesses in Estonia to be more competitive in terms of the whole Europe or the whole world. So this is definitely something I see like there is a lot of potential that we can offer, because actually we are so digitalized, we have so many options to automate everything and to be ready using AI or using any kind of like more automations. But I think like the part where the companies don't think it through from their strategy point of view, this is something that is really lacking, like just the systems and everything, how it's working. Like, yes, we want the numbers. Yes, we want to produce that much, whatever kind of product they are selling or whatever kind of service they are selling, but they don't think it through from the strategy point of view, how our systems are set up, how our people are working, how our people are communicating. This is the kind of part that needs to be on top as well.
Yeah, and now there exists something fancy called AI, and a lot of the managers, they read it in the news, in some website that there's magical AI which would help everything, which would help you grow, which would put your strategy together, and then they come to you and please, Mari-Liis, can you help us implement AI?
Exactly, yeah.
So how is it, does this question come mostly from the team members? Would you see that they want to use AI, or does it come today from the management board? And does it actually make a difference who is the initiator? You mentioned that in general with finance topics, you need to involve everyone. And I think with AI, it's quite similar. You can't just do it with one person or one team.
Yeah, it's definitely coming from the top, usually. And it's kind of difficult, I would say, because one thing that actually people are really afraid of today is losing their jobs. And this is the reality.
And
Like
the economical situation is not helping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can say whatever we want to, say that our employees are really like on board with everything and we really want to make it done. But the actual thing when you're really speaking with people, especially accountants, and why are they maybe against some automations and everything, they're really afraid of losing their job, especially when we're speaking with a little bit older people. So yeah, I think like this is like the one thing that maybe also the management kind of has to take some kind of perspective on it. Like what's also the point of taking AI into use? Like if the company is going to grow, then I don't think people really have to like worry about it that I'm going to lose my job. Their job is just going to change, but they are not going to lose it. So I think like this is one thing we all can work on it. But yeah, another thing is that we also have some great companies today that have automated every process so smoothly that they don't need many employees. So this is also one example. So it really depends on what industry you are in, what are your goals, how much you want to grow, do you want to grow? Is your company maybe a kind of like a lifestyle company? You want it like to grow at some point, and then you just, as an owner, you want to like, I don't know, live a good life, not have that much ambition to grow maybe on Amazon level, but yeah, it depends.
Yeah, and this is something that people keep asking in my trainings over and over. What will happen to my job? What will happen to the general industry, whatever industry X, Y, Z they are in? And yeah, maybe like a year and a half ago when I got that question, I thought that yes, probably you won't lose your job because AI was just in such baby steps. It wasn't capable in doing basically no role perfectly. But currently, it really, as you said, it depends on the company, because if a company has 3 finance analysts, 3 reporting managers in whatever industry, whether it's in marketing, finance, whatever, if there are 3 people who do exactly the same, probably they don't need 3 people in 1 year. So someone will lose that part of the role. So it comes down to the question if you want to, or if you are ready to change the way you work currently, if you want to implement AI, offer something else, broaden, because I think more and more roles will become similar to what you do, like a fractional role, because you don't need full-time employees there.
Exactly, yeah.
But I guess it's not even the question about AI, but in general, you work with finance teams and have automated the roles before. So how do you get that person who has done 15 years or more, stayed in the same role, how do you get him or her change the work that they have been doing?
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part, like really the hardest part, like getting people mindset changed. That's really difficult. One thing that definitely helps here is showing how it's going to change, that there isn't anything you should be afraid of. Your job is not going to be that difficult that you cannot handle it anymore, which is also something that people are afraid of. If you are willing to learn, you will learn. You will get a little bit of different kind of job, but you have it. So there is nothing to be afraid of. And I think a lot of roles are going to be like more like controlling and more like strategy point of view, not that much like data entry or data interpretation or something like that, because this is the part that AI today already can do very well, and all the programs that we can automate as well, they are doing it really well already. So I think like it's like the middle parts, as you said as well, like the reporting and the analysts. These are like the things that really today, like, I don't know, sensitivity analysis or pricing models or something like that, that at some point took like at least few days to put together. Today, you can do it like very, very easily, like there is like, yeah, you don't need a different kind of like position on that role. So you rather need the people that can control and understand where the data is coming from, so you could control that it's not going to like, I don't know, imagine some numbers and do something based on that. You need to like have that mentality that you can control what's correct, what's not, and do decisions based on that. So yeah, I think it's going to change, but yeah, coming back to your question, I think you just have to show them that there is no point being afraid. Of course, there are people you cannot change. Like some people just don't, and it's okay as well. Maybe they will go someplace else. There will never be that kind of situation, I don't think, where all companies are fully automated. There are still some companies and also some like lifestyle companies that don't maybe need that much automation, don't maybe need that much AI. Accountants can work with those as well. Like there is a place for everyone, I think, but the companies and the people who really want to develop, if you show them what can be done, how it can be done, they are coming on board.
Exactly. But when you come back to the data quality question, so if you look at also think about your own companies, which role do you think is the most important? Who will be like more responsible on the data quality, or who could help the more to like improve the data quality? Is it the accountants? Is it more like IT? You know, maybe small companies, they don't even have their own IT department. Would it be something that maybe they require now if they want to include more people, or maybe they just need to find someone technical or with technical interest in their own company?
I think when the company has a CFO or a fractional CFO, then this will definitely be the position that kind of like puts together all the puzzle pieces. And I think this is one part where maybe my job is giving the most value as well, because it's very often that I am putting together all sorts of people and positions in the company, whether it's accounting, it's IT, it's someone in production, someone from marketing, someone from sales. You know, finance is the function where everything is coming together at the end. So in this position, when you are in CFO position, you need to understand it all. You need to understand how it's coming together. And then as CFO, you have to know how to communicate it to the accountants. You have to show them. This is also something that I'm seeing that is quite a big mistake from my point of view, that either it's going to be the CFOs or it's going to be the other persons from the company that don't give the information to the accountants. They are working very separately. Like accountants are doing their job very well, but they are compliance. They are doing everything as they should for compliance, but they don't understand and they don't get the information how it's going to be needed from the strategy or the management point of view. Like how should you record revenues? Like, yes, I'm doing everything fine when I'm looking at the compliance, everything is fine. But when I'm looking at the strategy, we have different kind of revenue streams. We have different kind of products. We have different kind of, I don't know, sales points where we are selling our products. Like we have so many like other information that we actually need to make decisions. So this information also needs to be given to the accountants. They need to know why they are doing their job and why it's also important. Like it's very easy to automate in accounting also, like have different kind of dimensions or change the chart of accounts. It's very easy, and you can automate also like how you are recording your expenses. It's also very important to distinguish those things, because once you have like marketing cost on one account and another month in another account, then how are you going to analyze it? Then we are going to have some kind of Excel sheets where we are putting this information together, we are changing the data, and it's totally pointless because all of it can be already done in accounting. So that's why you need to like communicate, and the accountants need to understand why we are doing what we are doing. They are also part of the team and part of the strategy. Their input is so important, and this is something I'm seeing like from time to time, still on a daily basis, that this is something that really needs to have work. And also from like accountant's point of view, like be more interested, like ask questions, like don't just do things because you have to, or because, I don't know, auditor is asking, but be more interested, like how can you support the strategy of the company? Like if everyone in the company asks that, then we're already there.
I think that's like the basics of finance. You have this reactive reporting and proactive. So we are moving more towards proactive, and AI pushes us, automation has pushed us, and now we are actually getting there, which is kind of sad because all those years we have worked and looked only like from the rear view camera and what happened, but now we should look more into the future, and every person in the company should be involved in that.
Exactly. And I think also the management needs to understand it more, like accountants aren't anymore just the people who are doing the compliance stuff and tax reporting and audits. Like they are part of your strategy. Like you need to understand that basically main part of your data is coming from there. So you have your cash flow forecasts, you have your pricing models, you have your, I don't know, like M&A deals that you want to do. Everything is kind of like influenced by that. So if you got that right, then you're already there. It gives so much value.
Exactly. All right, Mari-Liis, let's look more into AI and what are the possibilities of AI. But first, you mentioned you work with smaller companies, medium-sized companies. Do you see a difference? Because I work mostly with larger companies, and for them it's quite easy to implement, or not say easy, but easier because they have the funds, they can test different tools. Do you see if there's a limit where, I don't know, smaller than 5 companies, there's no point in using AI because, 3 people work there, they already know everything they have in their mind, but should they use it and can they use it?
Yeah. Well, I would say in that sense, it also depends what are your strategy goals. Where are you going to? Are you going to be kind of like a lifestyle company, as we have already spoken, or do you have some growth plans? So it depends. I would say like small and medium-sized companies, they don't have the funds or the willingness. So you always have to think through what's necessary at this point, what's going to add the most value at this point, and kind of like we are doing like a 5-year strategy plan for the all of the companies. We have to have like you have the AI readiness, or it's going to be the automation plan. Like what are we doing? Like where are we like hurting the most today? We are going to fix that, and then we are going step by step. Because when you are doing everything as from the scratch today, and you build up a very well fancy system, but you're using most of the resources that maybe the company has planned on product development or something like that, then this is not really something they maybe should focus on. And this is where me as a fractional CFO, I also have to think through, because yes, of course, I would like to have everyone like the best in class systems for reporting, for everything, like let's have it fully automated. And I would really love to have it for all of them, but at some point we have to think about the cost benefit. What's necessary at this point, what's going to give us the profit in the end. So yeah, I would say for the small and medium-sized companies, not everything is that necessary at the moment. And since AI and everything is changing so quickly as well, and they are developing so quickly, then maybe for some companies there is no point at the moment. Let's wait a year. Let's do those things that are creating the most value that we as a company can grow at the moment, and then we are going steadily.
Because I think this is one of the myths also, that people assume that AI is for free. Yes, it's for free. You can start it out, you can test it. But if we think about actual companies who put their real data into it, they should buy enterprise licenses, which are not free. And if they want to move or bring AI more into their processes, so they bring different AI tools into it, so each of them require money. And then there's the question of what's the value behind it, and whether the NPV is positive or not, and what's the actual goal.
Yeah, and from that point, also one of the main issues for me today from AI is definitely the security part, and can I trust the system? And this is also yes, I can use the free version to do all kind of sensitivity analysis and everything, but when we are speaking about the whole finance function and the whole system, then that's not going to be free. And can I trust today all the systems, all the AI systems, everything that's going on with the world? I think this is also the question that you get from the company as well. Can I trust it? Because sometimes, especially also with the small and medium-sized companies, sometimes it's very hard for the founders to let go. They want to be involved in everything and control everything. So it's really hard. And can I really trust it?
Yeah, that's actually a great question, because as I mentioned before, yes, you can start out with the free tools, you can test it, but you have to understand that there's no free things in the world. So if you use it for free, then you are actually the product that they are using. So each of the information piece, all of the data, all of the numbers that you enter it, this will be used in the future for training the products. So do you want your information to be out there? I know that there are a lot of companies who say that we don't care, we are such a small company. Okay, that's fine. You as a CEO or a CFO, you can make that decision. But if you are already working with customers, then you have customer information, you have personal information. If you have employees, then you have personal information. And then if you work in the EU, then you have GDPR, which means that you can't do anything you want with the information that you are responsible for. So it really is important to think these topics through before you start implementing. Otherwise, you might be in a lot of trouble. And I don't just mean the fines that you might get. Yes, you can pay those fines, but it's the question of the public view on your company. So do you want to be seen as someone who is careless and doesn't care about the information that you have? So this is really important.
Definitely, when you're looking at the customers as well, do you want to be a customer of such company?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably not.
Yeah, because people are getting more aware of also their rights and what they can do.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's assume that there's the company who comes to you and yes, we want to implement AI, we're ready for it, we acknowledge the cost that might come up. What are the first steps? So which are, you mentioned a couple of use cases, so maybe we can dive into more of those. So what are the ones that you know that can benefit the most companies, maybe what they can try themselves? What do you do first?
Yeah, well, the first thing, of course, is mapping all the processes inside the company. It doesn't only involve accounting, it also involves how the sales process works, how the inventory management is going. Everything is going to be mapped out, how they are related to each other. Once that is in place, then we are looking for different kind of options. What are there? I would say most popular and most beneficial still at this point is using Power BI and also using Microsoft Copilot options that they have. Another thing is that when the company doesn't have that much funds to really integrate that, then we are also using like Google Workspace options, Google Sheet and Google Gemini, which also gives very good results, and you can really easily like have like sensitivity analysis, pricing models, especially in the last few years when there has been a lot of changes in the world and a lot of like you don't know how things are going to go, so you need different kind of scenarios. So this is something that's really beneficial for the cash flow management and how you price your products and services. So I think like there are like two ways we are looking. Either it's going to be the Microsoft products or it's going to be the Google. And then, of course, when I'm looking at my job, of course, there are clients that we're not going to automate everything because it's not needed. But for my work, I definitely use the most cloud AI, which has a lot of options. They are coming up with all sorts of different solutions very often, and it's going to change so quickly. So it's even hard for me to keep up because I have my client portfolio. I need to work on those. I don't have necessarily that much time for development, and as I sometimes wish I could have. So I'm definitely working myself together with different people in that industry as well to get to know the best practices, because I always definitely want to give my clients the best options as well. And also, when we are going to implement anything like that, we're definitely going to have someone from more IT background together in our team to start implementing everything and make sure that our data is secured, that all the data integrations are secured, how are they going to be stored, everything like that. It needs to be thought through. It's not only fractional CFO that can do everything. And I think this is one thing that I had to learn the hard way as well, because I thought that, oh, I'm so good at automations and integrations and everything, but as the world is also going on and all the IT systems and everything is changing so quickly, it gives a lot of value to like have other people on board as well and do it as a teamwork to really get the best result.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a couple of really important parts. First is the tool choice, as you mentioned. Yeah. There are companies who are in Microsoft world, then it makes sense to work with Copilot. Copilot has been quite bad for a while, but now they have improved a lot. Yeah. If you are a smaller one or if you're not in Microsoft, then you're probably in Google ecosystem, then Gemini makes sense. And then there is, of course, you actually didn't mention ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is one of the most popular ones, has been historically, because they were the first ones to come out in 2022. But now there's Claude. So we have 4 big players currently, and it's really hard for companies to change between them. And actually what I see also with the different companies that I work with, they don't have to necessarily choose one tool anymore. They might choose different ones, which again, we come back to the pricing point. They have to pay for all of those if you want the enterprise license. So again, you have to find out where are you going to actually use it and what are the benefits, which brings me back to the second topic I wanted to mention is the process mapping. Because I have never been a big process mapping fan. Worked maybe also in roles which are changing quite a lot. But now with AI, I think it's becoming more and more important. So you know at least your main process. So who are the responsible parties there? What are the actual data flows inside of it? And then you can start implementing.
Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of companies, they still have like, you have the CRM, you have some kind of inventory management tool. You have so many tools that I think like the process mapping and understanding it, this is like really the key. Like if you don't understand it, and especially when we're speaking about like the management and who's going to orchestrate everything, they need to understand it like fully. Like you don't have to be a specialist in finance, you don't have to be a specialist in sales, but you need to understand how the whole picture is coming from and where the data is coming from. So yeah, fortunately my first job was in Orkla, where we did nothing else but process mapping and finding solutions how to be the best in class in accounting. And when we took over different companies from the group to get to the accounting center in Estonia, we changed everything. Everything was done from scratch to have the most automated accounting as possible. So yeah, this has given me definitely like the brain that I can't think otherwise. Like it hurts when I'm seeing like a process that's very efficient, or like someone is only like thinking about their
part, yeah.
but they're not seeing the whole picture. And this is also kind of difficult from my job, because sometimes the management is okay. We're going to need reporting. I don't have a financial overview. I want to have a financial overview where my money is coming from, where my money is going from, and that's it. I only want that part. That's all I want from you. And then I'm going to explain. Okay, if you want that, then I need to go back to the process mapping. And I need to understand how everything is worked, because for finance, it's all connected. So yeah, this is the part that I'm always going back to. And I think some people definitely think that, oh, can we do it easier? No, you can't.
Exactly. Now we talked about the tools, so the large language models, different ones that we have are the ones to start with. They have all sorts of cool features, functionalities. Yeah. So where do you see in finance currently the most gain in AI? So you mentioned also the sensitivity analysis, which is becoming more important since the overall economic situation is not that great. So can you bring up a couple of more examples?
Yeah, I think one that has been most beneficial for my clients and what I see is definitely cash flow forecasting. Like, you have so many different inputs, different kind of differentiators that affect it. So gathering all those data manually, that's going to take a lot of time, and you won't get a real time result. And one thing where we definitely want to go as a whole economical system is real-time economy, which is also in Estonia very, very big topic. So I think and cash flow is the most important part for every business as well. So I think this is like something that really, really beneficiates from AI today already. So you can do it. You don't necessarily need integrated and automated systems for everything to have cash flow forecasting in AI. You can use Excels, you can use manual inputs, you can do it otherwise as well. But yeah, the main thing is that then once you have the integrated systems and everything automated as well, it's so beneficial. Like you get the results like right away once you change anything, or if any inputs, it also depends on the industry and your business, like what input prices or what are you affected by. So but you can get like real results right, like really quickly, not once a month after 20th of the date, which is kind of the sad reality for most companies. But yeah, you can have that information very quickly and many times in a month. So and another thing definitely is the pricing models, which is also related to the cash flow as well. But I think this is one thing that gives the competitive advantage to the companies, which you can definitely use. It's also affected by so many input prices, and once your inputs are changing, it's very easy to change them in AI, and it calculates your whole model. So this is definitely something that every company, I think, should think of, especially when you're some kind of like e-commerce company or wholesale or whatever kind of company you are, but you are selling to B2C. Then I think this is especially important. Another thing that we have used a lot is all different kind of investments and different kind of scenarios that the investors want to see, like kind of like a risk management, like what happens with your profitability or your company in overall once we change that. When are you going to need another like cash input, all sorts of this kind of things for the investors, because investors necessarily don't need real-time data from you. They don't need it like every day. They need it maybe once a month, once a quarter. So this is one point where I know a lot of analysts, they already use that, and Claude is really good for that today. Yeah, I think this doesn't necessarily mean that your accounting has to be fully automated to get it. You can do it separately as well, and this is where the analysts are definitely doing their job easier today.
I think these are great examples because they are the ones that are usually viewed as something that big corporations do. They have their own risk managers. They have their own, I don't know, analytics teams who do all those crazy data science stuff, which most people don't know anything about.
Yeah.
But with AI, you can do that. You can do that in your own small SME, medium-sized companies,
exactly.
and it's completely capable if you just have that push to try something new and learn something new.
Yeah, exactly. Only thing you have to have there is that you have to know how to control that your data is correct, and the results that you can interpret those that they are like the real results of our company. Because I've also seen some kind of examples, not in my companies, but you know, in LinkedIn and everywhere where you're seeing the stories from other CFOs, that AI is going to think some kind of numbers that are not my company numbers. But yeah, this is something that can happen when you have like even when you have those kind of Excel sheets, and then you are prompting and prompting and prompting, and you know, AI is going to think about something like that can happen. And then the most important part is that you have to like have that critical thinking there.
Exactly. That is something, it's one of the key issues or key concepts in my AI trainings is also that, yes, you can use LLMs for ideation, you can ask it how to generate different dashboards, etc. But then you have to still move it to somewhere in a system, whether it's Excel, whether it's, I don't know, Google Colab or some other system where you can actually trace what it has done, and then where it does everything systematically, not just in a generative way, which is the essence of LLMs. So this is really important. All right, this has been super fascinating. Let's try to sum it up. I was wondering if you have anything you want to share to the CFOs who are listening, who haven't taken that step towards AI or automation yet, who are still in the business, which is kind of maybe the old way. So what would you like to say to them, and to suggest taking the first step into this fascinating world?
Yeah, something I really wish for every company, every client is that think through what you are doing, what your employees are doing, what your different parts of the company is doing, like understand the whole processes, and start thinking like critically, like where are we doing something manually? Like you can see it in your everyday work. Like just think that, okay, I'm doing that thing. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to do that thing again. So this is a repetitive task. It can be automated, most probably. So kind of like start thinking more critically and just start testing out. You can take some kind of like example. You can anonymize all the data at first. If you're using the free version, don't put any like confidential information in it. Just anonymize the data and just try it out. What result is it going to give you? Because there is no like one way to do everything. You just need to kind of like start and use it and get used to it. And just once you get one prompt and you do it every day, you get used to it and it gets better and better and better and you get better results. So critical thinking is definitely the part. See where you are lacking at the moment, where there is possibilities to improve anything. And yeah, definitely I would say if your company today is closing the month later than 10th, even that is like I would say 5th is better, but is it going to be later than 10th of the month? You have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of options to be better.
Okay, that's great. And for the final question, what are you actually looking forward in the future about AI? So you mentioned you have already quite a lot of use cases. You're using Claude, you are using different ones for different customers. You also mentioned that, yes, you still need to check the numbers, you need to figure out if it's correct. The critical thinking comes like both ways. But what are you expecting the most? Are you looking forward in the future?
I definitely would like to see systems like getting more like trustworthy, because I think there is still a lot of like kind of like wrong answers. So you need to change your prompt or how you are kind of like asking things. But it's gone better like very, very much, especially like Copilot.
Yeah, I think in recent months it's been improving hugely. And
yeah, exactly. So so this is kind of the part like at the moment it still takes a lot of time to test everything out, to kind of like find the way how it works. So it still takes a lot of time. I would definitely like to see that this will improve, and I'm sure it will. Also, what I'm at the moment working with is that I want to create like a demo versions of also from the accounting systems that we have at the moment in Estonia, which are the most popular ones. And I want to do like a demo versions, like what is like kind of like the perfect or the best case, best use case, and to show them to the clients. Because at the moment there is still a lot of doubt in using AI and a lot of doubt in how I'm going to integrate everything and what is going to be the end result that it gives me. Like people don't understand it because they are not in that industry. For me, it's quite common sense already, but for the companies, they want to see it. And when I'm doing like proposals or anything as well, they want to see like an example. So I really want to like make like the best case scenarios for the most common things that are used in Estonia at the moment. And I want to find a way that's quite easily going to be implemented to another companies as well. Because at the moment I still see it's kind of like not a struggle, but it still takes time, it still takes testing, and it's still quite time-consuming project to take it all in. And it requires a lot of resources from the existing employees, from the external consultants and everything. So I think we're kind of in the beginning still, and there is a lot to improve in the practice.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Mari-Liis, for joining me and discussing those topics and speaking about your honest view, because I think it's so important. There's so much hype around there, around AI, how magical it is. But I hope we cleared some of the myths and showed also that it's possible to use AI in finance.
Yeah. I hope so too. And congratulations on your new podcast.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much to all of you who have listened to the very first episode of Inside Finance. If you liked the episode, if you want to be the first ones to know more about these awesome topics of AI and finance, then definitely hit that subscribe button and you will be the first one to hear. Thank you and have a nice day.